So hi and welcome to today's video. So today I'm going to be talking about Optimum No Rinse and some of the different uses of the product. Now what I'm not going to be doing in this video is demonstrating it as a rinseless wash product. There's plenty of videos out there that do that, but what I wanted to do in this video was talk about some of the more alternative uses for the product. So of course what I'm going to be doing is talking about the uses, the pros and cons, and also the dilution ratios. It's really important. And then if you want some extra information, I'm going to link a blog post in the description that I've got on my website. I'm just going to talk about the uses in a little bit more detail, and also at the end of the blog it has a conversion rate, so you can, whether you're working in ounces or litres, it gives you the popular dilution ratios and how much you would need to add, whether you're making up a litre, 2 litres, 5 litres or whatever volume. Some of the popular ones, it has all the different ratios worked out already for you on there. So cracking on with the first use of Optimum No Rinse on this list, and that is as a quick detailer. Now what's really good about using O&R as a quick detailer is that it does offer a lot of lubrication. Now I generally don't use quick detailers on dry panels in between washes because I just don't think it's the safest option. I'd rather just wash the car when I get time. But if you're in an emergency, or maybe you're at a car show, or a bird's just violated your car, then maybe this is a good option to go for, one that might be a bit safer than other traditional quick detailers. Now for this use, I would recommend it as a 1:16 ratio, so 1 part of O&R and 16 parts of water. Now some of the advantages of this product as a quick detailer is that it's so much cheaper than traditional ones out there. Just because you're mixing it up at this dilution ratio, it does mean that it's quite a cost-effective product. Also, like I said, it does offer more lubrication than most quick detailers. Being marketed as a rinseless wash product, it does offer that kind of extra benefit. However, I'd say the disadvantage of using it as a quick detailer is that it doesn't offer any protection or added gloss like some of the other products. Now it does leave something behind, but it doesn't tend to offer as much gloss or protection as some of the other products out there. So if that's what you're traditionally looking for, that traditional quick detailer that does it all, cleaning, protection and gloss, then this might not be the best option. But if you're just looking for pure sort of cleaning power from your quick detailer, then this might be a good one to look at. So the next use on this list is as a drying aid. Now this is something that I've been doing quite a lot recently. I think it's really quite an effective drying aid. It leaves a really streak-free finish, and it's very economical as well. I use it as that 1:16 ratio again, so 16 parts water and 1 part of the product. Now the only real disadvantage I'd say is using this as a drying aid is it doesn't offer any additional protection, similar to like it doesn't with a quick detailer. However, that's not something you always need. For me, when I'm using a drying aid, I just want something that's going to help provide that lubrication. I don't want any kind of extra benefits from that. I think what's good about O&R as well is that it doesn't mask anything. So if you do have a good wax, ceramic coating or sealant, it does actually help to revive the life of it a little bit rather than mask it, which is a definite benefit of the product. So the next use on this list is as a glass cleaner, and this is actually one of my favourite ways to use the product, partly because it is so cheap. So I use it 256 parts of water to 1 part of product in a spray bottle, and a couple of sprays onto sort of each half of a windscreen or a normal size window. It leaves a streak-free finish, which is obviously very important. It's really cost effective when you work it out at that dilution ratio. It's just costing pennies, if that. And one of the best things about it, I think, is that it doesn't degrade any glass sealants or coatings. So if you're using a really aggressive glass cleaner, that might not be the best thing in terms of the life of any sealants you've got on there. But with this, because it is quite sort of delicate way to clean them, it's not battering them with chemicals, so it's good if you do have coated glass. I'd say the disadvantages is that it takes slightly longer to flash off than traditional glass cleaners. That might be an advantage if you live in a really hot climate, but in winter it's just going to take a little bit longer of working that product in. And also, it works well on windows that are reasonably well maintained. If you have a filthy window, then you might want something a little bit stronger for very dirty glass. So the next use on this list is a little bit of an alternative one, and this is one that I picked up on YouTube, listening to some of the people from Optimum No Rinse actually talk about this use of the product. And they were kind of comparing different pre-wash methods. So they were talking about how when you rinse the car, you do that initial rinse with the jet washer, that has some potential to cause scratch and swirl marks. Now, I kind of get this kind of thinking because you are essentially pushing dirt and debris across the surface to rinse it. Whether this makes a massive difference or not, I'm not entirely sure, but I do get the logic of it. And the thinking behind it was that if you spray Optimum No Rinse onto a dry car, and then rinse it off with your pressure washer. This essentially provides sort of a cushion for the dirt and provides that extra lubrication where this risk of scratching and swirl marks occurring from your pressure washer itself are a lot less reduced. Now, I wanted to include it in this video because I thought it was a little bit of a different one and I thought it was kind of interesting. So in this kind of use, you would use it as 256:1, so really dilute. It might be useful on very soft paintwork that can't be polished maybe due to its kind of age. And it is pretty cheap when you dilute it. It's going to cost sort of pennies to do this method, so it's not particularly adding much in terms of cost. However, it is adding time to the wash process, and I'm not entirely sure whether it's a necessary process, but if you really want a way to reduce scratches and swirl marks at all costs, then it might be something that's worth considering. Try it yourself and see how you get on with it. So another absolutely brilliant way of using Optimum No Rinse is as a clay bar lubricant. So this is really recommended at 64:1 ratio, so 64 parts of water to product. Now I use it a little bit more concentrated than that, so using it sort of a more 32:1 to a 16:1 ratio might be a little bit unnecessary. However, I do like to add as much sort of lubrication to the paintwork as possible when claying, just to be kind of a little bit more safe, as the paintwork on my car is really soft. So I think that one of the main benefits of this is that it's such a cheap alternative to traditional clay bar lubricants. And also what I've found from using it is a lot slicker feeling than normal car shampoos. Normal car shampoo is something that I used to use, just some left in the bucket from the wash process. I would use that and then clay the car using that sort of solution. I still think that's really effective, and it is a cost-effective way of doing it as well. But when I used Optimum No Rinse, I definitely felt that there was an extra benefit in terms of lubrication. So the only real disadvantage is that the spraying the products onto the panel is a little bit more effort than using car shampoo, but it's really minimal. And I think I initially thought that cost would be a problem with this, but when I worked it out, it was still cheaper than using car shampoo as well. So next up on the list is using Optimum No Rinse as an interior cleaner. Now this isn't something that I bought the products for, and it's not something I initially considered at the start, but when I tried it, I actually thought it was really effective. Now, it isn't a heavy degreaser and it won't work on really filthy interiors. It's more just kind of used to give your car a little bit of a light sort of clean, whether you're doing it weekly or every couple of weeks. So I've just given it a wipe down every week using this product, just spray a little bit onto a reasonably damp microfiber towel and used it to clean up any sort of light dust or fingerprints. So it's really cheap and compared to most interior cleaners. If you do have a well-maintained interior, then there might not be a need to get out these sort of heavier interior cleaners every time. This might be all you need. And also it does leave a residue-free finish, and it doesn't change the look or add a greasy feel to any of the surfaces, whether that's plastic, leather. I've not tried it on fabric, I can't imagine it being too effective, but plastic and leather I have tried it on. Now, sort of disadvantage of this is that it's not particularly potent. If you have a dirty interior, then you're going to need something better. Potentially something with antimicrobial sort of effect is going to be a lot better to use. Also, it's not specifically designed to clean surfaces like leather, so I still think it's better to go with a traditional leather cleaner. That's something that I like to do. But I think as a sort of quick way to lightly dust your car down, it's a really good product. And I like to keep a little bit mixed up in my car, because I think that having a bottle of this to deal with potentially issues you get on the outside of the car, whether it's bird poo or any kind of marks on the car, but also to have it inside the car, I have a bottle mixed up at 256:1 because I can just use it to clean the interior if I have to, and also to clean the glass. I think it's just a really versatile product that it's worth having a bottle mixed up on the go. So the final use on this list is as a water softener. So if you live in an area with really hard water and you're really struggling with water spots because you can't dry the car quick enough, then adding a bit of Optimum No Rinse to your wash bucket with your normal car shampoo is a way of softening the water. One of the advantages as well of adding it to your wash bucket is it does add some more lubrication to help reduce the risk of inflicting scratches and swirl marks. So generally they say to add around 1/8 of an ounce for every 32 ounces of water, or 4 ml for every litre of water in your wash bucket. Now I've discussed the advantages, but personally for me I don't use it because O&R actually kills suds really, from what I've found. So if you like a lot of suds in your shampoo, then this isn't going to help you. It might add some slickness, but suds it's going to take a bit of a hit. And also the cost of the wash increases significantly when you're doing this. You're essentially doubling the amount of products you have to use compared to a traditional car shampoo. I also don't find that I need that extra slickness when I am using good car shampoos. So I personally don't use it, but if you are living in an area with really hard water, or you find that your car shampoo isn't that slick, then it might be worth giving a go if you aren't that bothered about the additional cost of using this. So like I said, I'm going to leave a link in the description to that blog post that I've written. It's going to give you all the conversion rates for ounces, litres, and it's going to give you all the different dilution rates as well, and just tell you exactly how much you actually need to add to your bucket or your bottle to get the right amount. So there's no maths involved for you, it makes life a lot easier. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, it'd be fantastic if you could give it a like, comment down below if you've got any questions, and subscribe for weekly detailing videos if you aren't already. So thanks again, and I'll see you next time.